What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Tuesday morning edition of the Daily Juice Podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me on Twitter at SportsTalkMatt each and every morning. We're here on BettingPros.com. We're always being brought to you by BetMGM. You guys can follow BettingPros on Twitter at BettingProsNFL. And the offer from BetMGM, always available for you guys, including tonight. If you want to bet on one of the two MACtion football games, going to talk about coming up today, $5 bet. $100 in free wagers if either team scores a touchdown. If you're on money line, total side, you get involved with the game, you win $100 in free wagers using that promo code JUICE100 from our friends at BettingPros. JUICE100 at BetMGM, BetMGM.com. I will be in New Jersey coming up on Monday to use the JUICE100 promo code. Looking forward to that coming up. Okay, so today is a really crazy day. It's the start of a really crazy week for me, just FYI. As we get into this, just a heads up, I am traveling. I'm on a red-eye Tuesday night, so I'm going to be running around like crazy. I will watch a little football. I'll try to watch a couple of these football games coming up here, and then we land. The podcast coming up for Wednesday will drop early, and most likely I'm going to bet the Thanksgiving Day games coming up on the podcast for Wednesday, just because of I'm not going to have any real line movement. I'm not going to have a lot of information. I'm not going to have a lot going into the games on Wednesday. So just a heads up. So you're going to get the football plays probably pretty early for me coming up on Thanksgiving. So that's just kind of how things are going to go. So just a heads up on that. Okay. So last night, not a good night. It would have been fine if it wasn't for the, that teaser dying, because we gave the Giants 17 points. They lost by 20. We got a field goal. We got a push out of it. You got a touchdown. We won the bet. So it stunk. They only scored 10 points, 30-10. The under was the play. It can't come in. Teasing the total from 11 down to 4 would have been the play, but unfortunately we went the other way, and the 20-point win for the Bucs. They come off their bye week. Looked very good. They did not run the ball with Leonard Fournette. That didn't happen. And Daniel Jones did not run the ball very well either. So that didn't happen either. It would have been an 0-2 night on the props, and then it would have been 1-1 in the NBA. Hawks right, and the Suns won by 4, 6-point favorites. They won by 4, so we just didn't get there, unfortunately. We need one more bucket to get a push on that. So 1-1 NBA, 0-2 on props, and then 0-1 on the teaser. So overall, a down night, losing night last night. So not great. Let's move on to tonight. I am only going to play 2 half-unit bets, okay? I am not. Right now, I'm running around like crazy, okay? I got a ton of things going on. There's so much college basketball going on. I would love to jump in and be involved with college hoops, but I can't do the work at the moment because of how much stuff I got going on. So college football, 2 bets, half a unit each, just kind of dip my toe in the water here with midweek football for the MAC, which I love being involved, okay? You guys know I love betting MAC football, so we're going to get involved with a half unit. Buffalo at Ball State, game 1. Game 2, Western Michigan at Northern Illinois. These games will both kick at 7 o'clock Eastern time, so they're going on simultaneously here. Ball State at home, laying 6.5 points. Total is 58.5 against Buffalo. Western Michigan at Northern. Northern's catching 3.5 points, total of 62 for these teams. You might just say, hey, bet the overs and be done with it. But I'm not going there, okay? Can't really justify. Buffalo's been better to the over. They're 6-5 to the over, but Ball State's 3-8 this year. They're on a massive streak. Last 4 games have gone under for Buffalo. Last 3 games have gone over. Sorry, for Ball State. Last 3 games have gone over for Buffalo. So no play on this. However, you got a 6.5 point line for Ball State at home up against Buffalo. I don't like Buffalo, okay? We've talked about this before. We faded Buffalo against Northern Illinois. They were 2-point dogs. They lost by 6, so they did not cover. They have not covered in their last 3 games for Buffalo. And over the last 10, it's been ugly here for Buffalo. They're 3-7-1 against the number this season. They're 1-5-1 in conference, 3 straight, but it's 7 of 8 games here. Last 10, 2-7-1 against the number for Buffalo. And it has a lot to do with the fact that I don't like their offense at all. They run the ball, and that's about it. Now, Ball State's not much better, okay? I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm in love with Ball State, and they look great, but they could become bowl eligible if they get a win here, okay? So they're playing for a lot. They win, they go to a bowl game. That is significant for a team out of the MAC, all right? So I think that's a big deal here as you look at it. And I just think Buffalo's offense is not good. Ball State's not great, okay? They're 3-8 against the number. They haven't covered in their last 4 games. Against Central Michigan, they were catching 2.5. They lost by 20. Against Northern, they were laying 3. They lost by 1. Against Akron, they were laying 20, and they won by 6. Against Miami, Ohio, minus 3.5. They lost by 7. So this has not been a good month of November here for Ball State, except they're playing Buffalo, who has been worse, in my opinion, than Ball State. So I think there's going to be some opportunities here to stop this Ball State offense because really, look, Ball State wants to run the football. Passing-wise, 6.1 yards per pass play. That's 112th in the country, okay? That's not good. You can throw... you can throw on this team. You can throw on Buffalo's defense. You can throw if you're Ball State, but Ball State can run the ball and they can throw the ball. I don't like Buffalo's offense, and I think if you're going through different advantage points, I think Ball State's offense is better. I don't like Ball State's defense. I think their offense is way too one-dimensional. I think Ball State's defense is good enough. 4.3 yards per rush play given up. 4.3 yards per rush for Buffalo is 66th in the country, but 78th best for Ball State stopping it. 187 yards on the ground for Buffalo per game, 182 given up per game for Ball State. Passing-wise, 214 yards passing for Buffalo, 239 yards given up for Ball State. But I just think this Buffalo defense is not very good. 240 yards through the air given up per game. They give up 225 yards on the ground per game. I think Ball State runs the ball all over them. It's under a touchdown. Ball State's playing for a lot. Buffalo's playing for nothing. The line was 5.5. It's now 6.5. Under 7. I'm comfortable laying it for half a unit. I'm going Ball State minus 6.5 for a half a unit here for us for our first play for MACtion. Bet number 2, Northern at home against Western Michigan. Northern Illinois is 7-3-1 against the number. They're 5-2 in conference against the number. They've covered the last 2 games, and they have been pretty good over their last 10, 6-3-1 against the number over the last 10. For Western Michigan, they're 4-6-1 against the number so far this season, 1-5-1 in the MAC. They've not covered their last 4, and 6 of their last 8 games they have not covered. They are 1-4 over the last 5, 4-5-1 over the last 10, and they're 1-3-1 on the road against the spread. 3-1-1 for Northern. The number is coming down, opened up at 4.5. It's now plus 3.5. It's important to get over that key number of 3, in my opinion. I do think this is going to be a tight game. Again, another one of these games where you're like, well, maybe you look at betting the over, right? 6-5 for Northern, 5-6 for Western. Not that great at home. Northern's 2-3 to the over. On the road, Western's 1-4 to the over. So no, we're not looking at the total. There's no real angle or advantage there on a total perspective. I would probably lean under 62 points. I would lean under here in late November in Northern Illinois. I'd go under 62 points if I was going to bet it. But instead, I like the points. Plus 3.5 here out of Northern. They've covered, as I mentioned, 4 of the last 5. And so this is a team, that's the over. 4 of the last 5 have gone over for Northern. But they've covered 4 of the last 5 still, yeah. So they were, if you want to look at, So we're looking at them, 3 of the last 4, not 4 of the last 5, 3 of the last 4. So you got Buffalo was laying 2 points in their last game. Northern Illinois was against Buffalo. They won by 6. Against Ball State, they were catching 3. They won by 1. Against Kent State, they were catching 3.5. They lost by 5. Against Central, they caught 6 points and they lost by 1. They're playing very tight football games. So it's really wild. They have won by 7, 2, 8, 1, lost by 5, won by 1, won by 6. They're playing tight football games, okay? This 3.5 point line for a home dog, I like when a team plays tight games and they get there and they're catching points. For Western, against Eastern Michigan, laying 5.5, they lost by 1. Against Akron, they're laying 26, they won by 5. Against Central, they're laying 9, they lost by 12. Against Toledo, they're laying 1.5, and they lost by 19. This team's going in the wrong direction. They're just not a very good football team. So I think it's good to jump on a home dog here. Northern is 8-3. You can say, well, they're not playing for very much, Matt. They already kind of have their fate's already kind of locked in, so maybe they're not going to be as focused. Maybe they're not going to be as motivated. I mean, I don't know. I mean, to me, I just think they want to get out there, and Rocky Lombardi wants to get out there and, make another victory and put another win here for this team. And I just think they're one of the best turnaround stories for the entire season. I don't think they're going to take anybody lightly. In Western, I haven't liked what I've seen out of Western Michigan this season. It hasn't been all that great for them on the year. And, they're 6-5, and they've won one of the last 4 games. For Northern, they've been very good, 7-3 over their last 10. They've won their last 2 games straight up. And, the stats-wise, I just think Northern's going to have an opportunity here to move the ball and their offense to have some success throwing the football against Western Michigan. They give up 8.4 yards per pass play. It's 106. They give up 225 yards per game through the air. And I think on the ground, I think they're going to be able to run the ball here. 4.8 yards per rush for Northern. They run for 222 yards per game. On a defense, it gives up 146 yards per game. It's pretty good, but it's still not outstanding. You can run on these guys. And I don't like Western's offense. I just think Western Michigan right now, offensively, it's not been, it's been okay, but it's not been as great as it was earlier in the year. Things have definitely slowed down for Western. So on the road, Northern Illinois catching 3.5 points. As long as it's over 3, we're going half a unit. Northern Illinois over 3.5 plus 3.5. Hosting Western Michigan, okay? I like home teams in the MAC in the cold weather late in the year, all right? I'm going to lay 6.5, Ball State against Buffalo. I'm going to take the 3.5 points, Northern Illinois at home against Western Michigan. Both those bets for a half a unit here. So 1 unit in play for us here on the podcast. I may have some more basketball picks for you guys potentially on the Discord channel, bettingpros.com/chat, or underneath me on the link on YouTube to get in. I may have that. But as of right now, I got too much going on. So I'm just going to make 2 football bets. We'll have a podcast that we'll tape during the day. It'll drop in the evening before I get on a plane. So probably, I don't know, again, I think it may drop around like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock Eastern time today for the Turkey Day podcast. I'll give you my bets and plays for the Thanksgiving Day games. And then we'll get into that coming up once I'm at home back in Boston. So I'll be able to tape it for the Thursday Thanksgiving podcast. We'll have some more picks and plays, some prop bets, other stuff to throw at you guys coming up here on the podcast coming up for Thanksgiving, okay? If you're traveling today, please travel safely. I'm flying. If you're driving, please be safe wherever you may be. We want to have you around and being part of the Daily Juice family for as much as possible. A lot more to come on football. But let's get a couple of winners here on a Tuesday. My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me on Twitter @SportsTalkMatt. Each and every morning, it's the Daily Juice Podcast. Always being brought to you by BetMGM.